Now it says we're live, but let's take a deep breath. Okay. I am Matt Frankie. I'm over here. This is Violet Igo. I'm trying to get my finger right place over there. And together we make the Mad Scientists. This is here because I have now got a frame for this. And doesn't it look nice?
Brilliant.
It really looks rather good. I'm quite pleased with it. I haven't gone over and done any more with it. So I may touch up something in the future, but I'm so pleased with how it turned out. Having that hanging on the wall. I mean, I've had it on the wall, sort of, still in on the block, you know? And it looked so nice. So I'm so pleased with that. Now, this is the result of the last few videos. I will do a little short on this and try and capture the way it makes me feel, which is pretty much quite happy.
Absolutely get a still of the before where
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Well, I've got a before in as much as I've got the previous drawing.
Exactly. Yeah. If you could get that in a close up, because we can barely see that. But that in a close up, just like that, just to give
I'll do that, yeah.
And then
so there we are, and then
beautiful.
Turned out quite nice. So there we are. Anyway, I was just trying it out that way. I haven't sealed it in place, and we had a look with the glass in, and the glass was distracting with all the lights and the shadows in here. Does that help? Because this is my sketchbook. Recent purchase. Nice one for my handbag. It's a nice little A5.
Very nice. You could come a bit closer even.
Oh, I could. I went out, didn't I, for that?
Yeah, you did. Very nice.
And it's 50 sheets in here. It's 300 GSM, 140 pounds. Acid-free, natural white, cold press. Don't see anything about any amount of cotton or anything. So, but it's quite nice. It's quite nice. So I've got thistle, which was one of those ones I was drawing before going on the trip. And then I've drawn some bits and bobs in here. That's just me sitting in cafes and going, oh, I can't think of anything to draw. I'll just draw what I've got brought with me to do the drawing with. So just mucking about, you know. So I wanted to do some more in here.
Can I ask the cafe, was this in Malden?
No, it was Books and a Brew Boutique.
Oh, okay. It wasn't when you had gone back to that. Was it Malden or Molden? How do you say it?
Malden.
Malden.
Yeah. So I did I did do. Oh no! Right. I have got here the little tiny sketch pad, which is this mixed media block, and this is the one that I did the piece for the. I wanted to try tone paper, you see, so I did a coffee cup in there, and I did it with this set because I want some browns and something light. But actually, I wanted a bit more light than that when I got home. And I didn't want to use the white gel pen. So I found this old one, not that old, that I bought a while back. And that's got sort of white in it, which is quite good. You can see that I used a fair bit of that.
Yeah.
And some of these other colours just to add more colour to it. And I was quite pleased with that. It's not very well drawn. I'm a bit cockeyed and everything, but I was only playing, so it doesn't matter. So I've got those. I would thinking about getting a slightly bigger pad, but I have got an A4 pad of this sort of stuff, I think from the same source, made by the same people, in fact. I've no idea where it came from. Probably could have come from a place called the Flying Tiger in Colchester, a shop that does stuff from Copenhagen. Which quite nice. And I've used, it seems to me that I have used this one quite a bit, and this one. Oh, stop it. We finished with you.
Well, she's talking
about quite a good size.
Her jingly, her cutlery chime. It keeps tingling. I like it.
So it's got quite a big lead that goes in there, this 2.0. So that's quite handy to have, I've found. But I've got other sizes because I've got loads of leads from old pens that have now stopped working because they had a cap to hold the leads in, and I lost the cap. So I couldn't use it. I had a set of about 3 of those, so I've replaced them with these Nick Pro ones, which seem to have slightly more firm. A Nick Pro and a Graph Gear one, and another Nick Pro. So I got out a 3, a 5, and a 7, and of course I've got the 9 from the Graph Gear one. Goody. And of course it comes with erasers. I'm not sure where the erasers go yet. I haven't quite figured that out. Isn't that Graph Gear or is that the other one? There's still one in there. I don't see one. There's one there, look. Yes.
There you
I thought
go.
there must be one somewhere. But these... Oh, yes, they've got one too. Gosh, blind as a bat. What about that one? Now, that's the one with the funny bit. It might have one, it might not. I don't know. Can't see in there, but anyway, the others have them, so that's fine. And I've also still got my ordinary erasers anyway, so good. But what I want to do is put some more in here. I want to get more in here. I could do with a block about this sort of size, A5, with these colours in, different colours in. I'll think about that, but I've got an A4 one, which is a bit too big to get in your handbag. So, what I'm thinking about, now I want to do boats, but I'm stretching paper for that. It's just over here, and it's still wet. And I'm using the new paper stretcher I got from Red Collie, which is this. So this has now been soaked for 7 minutes, about that. It was 300 GSM, so I've soaked it. And I put it in this stretcher, paper stretcher, from Red Collie in Northampton. And that's ready to paint on now, or it will be when it's not quite dry. It's still a little bit damp, but I can feel it. It's cold, so not quite run. I didn't bother trying to dry it with the what's it gun because I want to do some sketching in here, some urban sketching type things. That can include boats, but I want to do some buildings. And the most readily available building to me is, in fact, the house I'm in at the moment. So I've got, come on. I've got a photo. I tried to exaggerate the perspective by taking it really low down so that it would bend everything a bit. So I'm going to exaggerate that even more. So I've got that there. I can do the front or the side or whatever. I've took pictures all around just to see what would make the nicest picture. But I think the one with the porch is going to be most interesting. So anyway, we'll start with that. That's the 09 then. What did I have? Yeah, that's the 09. So now the way I've taken this picture, the bottom of the house is sort of curving as if it's on a hill. I quite like that. I don't know. I can always try a different curve next time. No, I don't like that though. all these people that say you should do it in ink because then you have a looser result because you can't rub it out. Oh, well, maybe. That's better because I want this end to be much smaller than this end. So if I do that, and then we've got the roof, which sort of comes up like that, and then goes, well, maybe that's a bit exaggerated, maybe down there, kind of, except it's got another blocky bit there. So this will now go from down to there, and this comes from here and goes up there, and this bit comes from just here and goes up even further there. And then we've got the chimney coming from here and shooting up with little pots on top. And then we've got the end of the house here. I'm going to cut off the garage. It's not a garage, it's an overhang, but I'm going to cut that bit off. So we'll just leave that there like that. Don't want it too slanty uppy. Well, actually, I ought to have it too slanty uppy. That's the whole idea, but too late now. I've run out of paper. So we want one window to go. Now I've exaggerated this again, so I've got wonky lines there and there. And then we've got the thing that nobody ever sees. They just don't see it. I don't know if they don't look or if it's too far away or what. It's probably too far away. Poor decrepit postman. I can't see that. It's got the words on it, but name of the house. Now, actually, that should be the other way. And it's easier for me to draw an oval this way round. So it's more sort of like
It's
that.
supposed to be exaggerated and wonky, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm doing that.
I don't know about you, but nobody needs to come along and measure and
Yeah, exactly.
that's my work, what I do. I wouldn't like that.
No. Well, it's no good they're measuring mine because I'm deliberately doing it so it doesn't matter. It won't match the actual dimensions anyway. Nice black drain pipe there. Go into that. So then we've got that bit there. That's not right. That is not right. Or is it? Wait a minute. If I put this here like that.
I think it needs to slant a tad bit more. I think you have it too angled. I think you have it too peaked.
Too peaked?
Yep.
What do you mean?
Wow.
Huh?
Too sharp. I don't know how to explain it. You know what? It has to be your way. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm a hush.
That's no longer there. And we've got that coming up just there. So that's I think you're right about that peak. It's not quite right. Up to there. And then it goes up to there. And I'm going to exaggerate that a bit.
Much as I love the idea of this, I'm not sure I could do it as as well as what I saw, that little bit I saw in that video. I think I would just, rather than exaggerate, I would just have a wonky house.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a wonky house.
Yeah, there would be nothing. There would be nothing. It would just be askewed here, there, and everywhere. It would be warped. Um, the thing with Procreate is there is a warp tool, and a I was playing with it with showing Russ. He was enjoying it, where I could take an image, whether it was one I drew or one like this that I brought in, a photo that I was had gotten, and I could liquefy it, I could crystallize it, I could warp it this way and that way, and make everything askew. Um, and then I could lower the opacity and trace over it to get the image that I wanted. So it's kind of a cheat, but when you're when you're not getting paid to do something, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
So if I cheat, I cheat because it's the best I can do, apparently. Is that a window?
yeah, that's a window.
It doesn't look okay. Yeah, there you go. It keeps wanting to die, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. A beastly thing.
Which is why I don't understand. Well, now I do. I was gonna say, why don't you put it on your computer? But then you'd have to look up and down and up and down and
I'm looking a little bit up and down, but it's not as far up as up there.
right.
But it was all right looking up and down when I was looking at the fork on there.
Yeah. It's just that it wouldn't go to sleep if you used your computer or your Galaxy.
True, yeah. I'm trying to exaggerate the curves on here because I want them more exaggerated, less straight. And I want to do the same with this one. Don't know why there's a funny block there. Often wondered. Now from there we've got it comes up quite a way, and then it goes up even more, and then it goes down like that, and down like that. Got that, and we've got this coming from underneath.
I'm curious to know if there's any hidden cupboards or pantries or rooms.
Well, in one of the pantries behind a wall, there is that a hidden stair.
Ooh,
Ooh,
where does it go?
upstairs.
Duh. It was either up or down. I was.
But we don't know where it quite. We think we know about where it comes out. Up here, it comes up here. We think in this area, in this room. Well, this is the kitchen, and the pantry is there, and the hidden stair would be going up. Possibly.
So if I was going to say if there were servants, it could be the back way for the servants. But this wasn't a. This isn't a man's.
No, it wasn't a mansion. No.
It's a working. It was a working mill.
I think that's a wee bit too long. Those two. A bit higher up.
Well, if you ever find an extraordinarily thick wall, or if you've ever thought about, that's quite a distance between walls or whatever. That's where I would look for hidden
Yeah.
hidden spaces.
I keep hoping I'm going to find a cellar somewhere. Haven't found one yet. I'd expect one to be under here because this is the oldest area. We haven't seen one yet. I think this is a bit too far over.
Well, would there be? I guess you would have to completely see the floor to see if there were a trap door of some sort.
Exactly.
Or a fake wall where there was a like a dumbwaiter type thing that went down there.
I shouldn't think they were classy enough to have a dumbwaiter.
Well,
Really improbable.
to transport. There may be, for all you know, there may be there may have been an outside entrance, but I doubt it. That doesn't sound productive for the type of factory it was.
Well, to start with, it was just the miller's house where the miller lived.
Yeah,
This piece. And
yeah.
it was only that part of it. It wasn't any more. And then it was built on top. And then a bit more was built. And a bit more.
And then the mill part was actually completely separate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on a different part of the property, which was then sold off.
It's
So
quite
somebody else got
possible
that.
if
And
there
then the
was,
granary was the other side of this over here somewhere. And
yeah.
then that was sold off. So we're just left with this bit now.
So if there were a cellar, it could be in either section.
True. And then we've got that roof going up like that. And we've got a chimbley, a nickel chimbley, just there. And that is about it. There's loads of detail, obviously.
Well, truthfully, it looks more like you drew the house rather than you drew an exaggerated version.
Really? I'm sorry. That's my first effort. I tried. I really tried. I've tried to give sort of swing to some areas. And
I would think for your brain, it would be a big stretch to do this.
Yeah, my brain runs in straight lines. This stupid thing.
Don't say that, please.
The dopey thing.
Brain does just fine. Go back and look at your paintings recently. There's some brilliant work there. So, yeah.
Well, the spoons came out all right, but they were distorted to start with. So I didn't have to distort them, did I? I'll leave that gap. I know there isn't really a gap, but I'll leave that gap anyway. So there we go. That's that. So the next thing is I'll just trace in a little bit of this here. And we'll see. Right, so let's get some colours. And I'm just playing with this, so I'm not doing anything fancy. There it is. It's open already. Good. I'm just going to bung some bits on. Let's find a medium-y one. That one will do. And some water. I'm going to go over it with this, and I'm going to put some more colour on afterwards. My own house, and I don't know where the colours go. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Again, exaggerated would suggest do whatever you want.
Now there is more pink. It's not everywhere. That bit needs painting, so I'm doing it paler. So that's quite a bit. Let's try a little bit of this in there. And some more in there. I want to add a little slightly redder tone. What's that one? Perylene Vermilion. Don't know. Or perhaps trans red oxide. A bit too red, that. Trans red oxide. Try some of that. That's better. That's more of a sort of darker shade. Just spread that a little bit, but not much. And this is a little darker because it's facing away from the light. Better. And then inside is white, so we don't want to worry about that. So what have we got here? Maybe not. What about the trans on its own? What to do with it? Oh, it's over here. Trans red oxide on its own. Gone over a point that ought to stay white. So I'm just going to lift that out if I can. And this is also the same colour. And that other bit is grey. Now that could be red with iron chrome brown. Yes, possibly. Let me have a look. Well, I think we might be better if it didn't have quite so much pigment. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of that dark brown, but I'm just going to allow it to do its work for me.
There'll be a lot of speeding up.
Yeah.
In the edit.
Good.
Mm-hmm. You'll never believe how fast your hand can fly.
Wow. Good. I'm going to grab a bit of this goethite, a little bit. I'm going to add it to the pink. I think that's not too bad, actually. There's a little bit of this same sort of shade up here. And the chimney. The trans red oxide is what I want. Darken it slightly. I'm going back to doing really delicate bits, aren't I? Dear me. Oh well. That's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. Let's try a bit of the shadow grey. Don't want too much on it now. Shadow grey. We've got. And this is a bit darker even still. Why did I do that? It might be darker still, but there's a weight bit in there, you daffy person. Leave that for now. Well, I'll just soften it apart from that. And this one. I think I'm just going to have to go over these with some gouache. Go over it with some gouache, it's easier. I can't really think of anything else to do at the moment there, except there's that little bit of pink I've missed. Tiny little bit. There's a bit of the tint. Now, what I'm planning to do is to go over it with ink pen afterwards. So I'll probably use walnut ink or something like that, which is one of the ones I like.
The walnut ink won't bleed into the...
Well, I don't know. It might. But in any case, this is a loose thing. And, I'm testing things out, so one would need to test it out, wouldn't one? Just want to put a tiny little blob in there. That's another window. Can only see part of it. I think that's good enough.
Is there a reason why the far left is just empty at the bottom part?
There?
Left. There you go.
Well, that's just the overhang, and it's pretty dark in there, so perhaps I'll just fill it in with some darkness. It's a good point, though. It was starting to bother me, that.
Yeah, it was obvious.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I will have to go over it, I think, because I want to darken this roof, but I don't want it spreading into there. That's all right as it is.
Right.
But I want that roof a little darker. It's more like this. So that's the iron chrome brown. I've got to add a little bit more of that there. Well, maybe the iron chrome brown with a bit of the trans red oxide, actually.
You're at 58 minutes.
I think it might even be good enough to do it now. Now, I'm not as steady with my hand as some painters are, so I'm afraid they're going to get much better detail than me, because mine just runs away with me.
I think
But that's a better brown, because it's... And there's a touch of it on this side. Just a touch. And there's a little touch of it there as well. And I want to reinforce this dark area here, which spread us somewhat. Because I'm putting brown where I should have put pink, but it's for shadow effect, you know? And in fact, I shouldn't have stopped. I want a bit more. Just here. Keep dipping into the paint with my wrist. And here. Tiny bit here as well. A little bit here because there's a thing that goes across, a sort of ledgy thing. And there's a line under here as well. Now I do want to lighten that line I've just put there. See if I can lift some of it. There. Yes, I can. That's good. That's much better. That's much better. I seem to be disturbing my layout. You know, when I've got my swatch, this is no longer going to match. I'm going to have to move things back again. Oh, well. So what I want there, now that's going to have some light put on it. And I think I want a little bit more dark in here as well. Otherwise it looks odd with only one window dark. And there should be more than one. And that one's darker than it looked. That's a curtain, so that's going to have something done with it.
Or you can improvise.
You can always go over it with some pencils as well if you want.
Yeah.
I'd like to put some green in down there, but I'm not going to.
Well, I wanted to make a point. Your far right chimney on the big portion of the house, the short chimney, could you, maybe I'm just not seeing it well, the corner line. Do you know what I mean? That defines it as a right there, right in there. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot to put that line in. Yeah. Is that better?
Well, that helps.
I want to soften that line there, but not with as much water as that.
And up at the top, the top story above that ridge, where the name is, whatever, over there, right to the top left, right there. Straighten out that bottom line. It looks like it drips. Did you mean to do that?
No, I did not mean to do that.
Okay.
I can do sort of softly put in a little bit of,
like bricky work.
Yeah, that kind of idea.
Yeah.
There we go. It's a little bit. There is something else I ought to do, and I want some dark Payne's grey for it. Are you Payne's or are you Shadow? You're iron brown. You're not even a grey at all. There, Shadow. This is Payne's.
Is that pipe or whatever?
That's that pipe.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm going to try and lift the edge of it. Right up a little with. I'd like to do the suit of armour next. The one I saw in the cafe?
Yeah.
That would be fun. I'll leave that now and let that dry. Anything that's a mistake, I'll have to go over.
But I think you should go find a Monty Python still images and draw a suit of armor from that.
I like the suit of armour that I saw in the What's It. But yeah, those suits of armour are interesting. But I like the one in there because it looked battered. It looked like it had been through the mill a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. I just thought, yeah, why not? It's not quite accurate. I mean, this is a little pinker than it looks, but I want to keep it like that to differentiate it a bit. I'm quite happy with all that.
I think if you put in some green landscape, you're gonna, it'll finish it off.
That was wrong.
Yep, get that water out and move it.
Not too bad. If I was going to put green, I'm terrible at greens, I really am awful with them.
There's a green already on your table on the paper behind your mat. That would be excellent. Top left.
Up behind my mat.
It's on your table mat. Yep, that's it right there.
Typical.
It's a nice base coat, but it needs a layer of a little bit more green. There you go. You're getting there. That's it.
Really ought to do a little bit of blue in the sky, I suppose, just to... There you go. That's about it. There you go. I'm done. I'm not looking at it anymore. I'll come back and do some pen work on it here and there after, but that's it. I'm done. Have you gone somewhere?
I'm here.
Oh, there. Oh, good. I think I was all alone for a minute there.
No.
What have you been doing?
Doodling.
Doodling. Good.
Just been doodling in my new book that I made.
Lovely. I like the distorted black and white sort of Tim Burton-esque tiling.
Drew a mushroom house.
Yeah.
And then I just fiddled with some generic kids stencils that I got in a thrift shop.
Uh-huh.
Just doodling.
Lovely.
Just doodling.
That's the kind of tiling, the black and white tiling I would have in the palace of Princess P. Because I think that would be very suitable for that.
It went kind of wonky.
That's the idea.
But that was exactly the idea, is just don't pay attention, just goof around, and quite happy with it. It's fine. It served its purpose.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
Made me happy. So, are we done then?
I think we are done.
Well, my goodness. Okay. Let's I wanted to take the time to thank all our replay watchers.
Yes, thanks for popping by, because
that we're not
tremendously.
They're so kind to come and to watch and give you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
After the fact. We will be doing another live in a few weeks on a Friday. It will be Friday from now on.
Mm-hmm.
We will do recorded videos Monday and Friday, and we will do a live on Friday once a month. So that seems to be the deal for the year. I like that.
Well, it's a bit messy. It's overflowed because I was in a hurry to do the whole thing, but it's not too bad. If I go over it with ink, it might get a bit less messy, or more, possibly. We will see.
Okay.
Right. We will say bye-bye for now, and thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Just going to find this bit up here and then go. See you next time. Bye.